Ariel Castro. He has been sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years. He's also been ordered to pay a $100,000 fine. I don't even know if that's relevant. I think the relevant part is keeping him behind bars for as long as possible. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars. And thankfully, there is now some justice for the 3 women that were held captive in Cleveland, Ohio for a decade. I mean, just a devastating story.
So they're also going to seize his property, and I suppose that the reason for the $100,000 fine is just to get every nickel he's got to give it in, I hope, some sort of restitution to the victims.
Of course.
And so that's a good thing as well. The guy is obviously a monster, what we would colloquially call a monster, but he doesn't think so.
He does not think he's a monster. In fact, he spoke in court for about 15 minutes. We have a little snippet of what he said, and just listen to him defend his character in this video.
What I'm trying to get is that these people are trying to paint me as a monster, and I'm not a monster. I'm sick. My sexual problems been so bad on my mind that I'm impulsive. I never had a record until I met my children's mother. I do have value for a human life because every time I came home, I would be so glad of the situation, as crazy as it may sound. And my daughter, she just made every day for me after she was born. She never saw any violence going on at that house, Your Honor. If anyone would question her, she'll say the opposite. She'll probably say, my dad is the best dad in the world, because that's how I tried to raise her.
He's not a monster. He's just sick. That's it.
Yeah. No, and it's not just that he's sick, Anna. It's that he has sexual problems, and they're compulsive, and they're so bad for him. Oh, is the problem you? Oh, I didn't know that. Or maybe we should get him some help. You know, I thought maybe it was the girls that were held captive for 11 years that faced the problems.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's actually Ariel Castro who's been suffering all along. He's had this compulsion. What could he do? What could he do, Anna? You see how we should be trying to help him and not, do all this life sentence and 1,000 years, etc.
During the trial, they showed all of the, chains that he used to basically shackle these women for a decade. I mean, they were in such hideous conditions, as you guys all know. And, some of the things that he did so Michelle Knight would have, would miscarry, basically punching her in her stomach and making these women just suffer the most unbelievable torture you could ever imagine. And I'm in a no-nonsense type of mood. Like, I don't even want to listen to that guy's voice. Like, I'm happy that he gets life in prison. I don't want to say things that are going to get me in trouble, but I hope he gets a taste of what he put those women through. Now,
some people didn't want to hear him say this, and he went on for 15 minutes. But I'm not afraid of some, idiot / monstrous guy who speaks for 15 minutes. Who cares? What's he going to do? Convince us that he's right?
It's amazing how people will justify and rationalize their own actions like that, just to convince themselves that they're not bad people. Yeah. You're a bad person. There's no justification. There's no rationalizing that could make you seem like a good person. You're a terrible person. And you know those moments where you wish you could say something to these people, like you could just tell them exactly what you think? I wish I had the opportunity to tell them how I felt, because and John made a really good point about this earlier, actually. He said, you know what, as we're sitting here talking about this story, I bet you there are so many other women right now that are held captive in similar conditions like that. Because these stories come up every once in a while. Remember, a few years ago, there was a story about this man in Austria that held his own daughter captive and repeatedly raped her and repeatedly fathered children with her.
Mm-hmm. And then there's, of course, sexual slavery, which is a different form of this. Now, what's amazing, and why I found it instructive that he spoke, is that it gives you insight into how the guys like this think. Mm-hmm. And is there a worse guy in America, right? But even he thinks, well, it wasn't my fault. I had a sickness. I'm afflicted. I'm afflicted by the sickness. It's the sickness's fault. And he implied during that 15 minutes that the relationship that he had with the women was consensual. Now, here's a clue that it wasn't consensual. They were locked up with chains. That's a pretty significant clue, right? Mm-hmm. And furthermore, you know, Anna just touched the tip of the iceberg there. When she was pregnant, he didn't just punch her in the stomach. First, he starved her. Mm-hmm. Then he punched her in the stomach repeatedly. Then he made her eat rotten food. And then he started jumping up and down on her stomach, okay?
Oh, I know.
But in his mind, he thinks it's not his fault and that it was somewhat consensual, that she wanted that to happen to her after he impregnated her by raping her and keeping her hostage for over 10 years. No, it's amazing what people will convince themselves of. But none of that matters now because he's going away for the rest of his life, and as well he should.